Since it is an absolutely horribly rainy day, we have decided to embark in roadside attractions and historical monuments. Right now, we are at the Braddock Memorial Grave Site, and I've got to figure out who he is. After Washington's surrender at Fort Necessity, General Edward Braddock and the British troops were sent to secure the Ohio River Valley. Braddock fought and was mortally wounded on July 9th, 1755 in an attempt to recover Fort Duquesne from the French. The British troops retreated and made their way back to the Great Meadows known today as Fort Necessity. Braddock died on July 13th, 1755 and was buried in the road to prevent desecration of his body. George Washington presided over his funeral in 1804. A body believed to be that of the general was found in the middle of Braddock's Road, exhumed and reburied upon this hill. In 1913, a marble monument was erected on the site of the burial. If you go down to the right, down a gravel path, you will find the original burial site. How cool. Let's go down and see the monument. The boys are watering the trees that don't need to be watered. They're glad to get out of the car for a minute. Let's go down the gravel path, boys. We'll meet you guys over at the monument. This is the monument. This monument was erected and dedicated in the memory of Major General Edward Braddock by the Braddock Memorial Park Association of Fayette County, Pennsylvania. There you go. Everything you wanted to know. It's a nice monument. Nice iron gate around it. Here lieth the remains of Major General Edward Braddock, who in the command of the 48th Regiment of English Regulars was mortally wounded in an engagement with the French and Indians under the command of Captain M. de Beaulieu at the Battle of Monongahela, within 10 miles of Fort Duquesne, now Pittsburgh. This is the gravel path where his original grave was, or somebody's original grave was. And they moved the body from that site and that marker to up on top of the hill. It's not easy to hold this steady with the rain and the umbrella. The boys up the stairs. There's a lot of stairs here. He does pretty good going upstairs now, though. Our next attraction will be Fort Necessary National Battlefield. So we're in the Fort Necessary site. As usual, it's dark. And it's got all sorts of neat stuff. It's very nice. You come up to these statues and there's a button to push.
I did not let the anniversary of the Fort Necessity battle pass without a grateful remembrance of our escape. The same providence that protected us will, I hope, continue his mercies and make us happy instruments in restoring peace.
And there's a cute thing for kids out in the yard here.
Almost 30 years after his first day's combat at Fort Necessity, George Washington returned to the site. His experiences here and in the French-Canadian War defined his life. Washington often revisited his own memories about what took place at Fort Necessity.
There's a war going on around me. This is the French and Indian War, period, not the Revolutionary War. So it's when we were friends with the English. It's very dark in here, sorry for that. The camera will adjust, I think. Some really great dioramas of the troops back in the days when what they did was march in columns and were shot down by the Indians. Some nice artifacts.
I bet I'd make 2 round trips before he gets there.
It's a lot easier moving banknotes and loans than wild animals. But you hear about tolls along the way.
They're gonna raise them again.
What? I'm already paying 12 cents to get my stagecoach through. That's highway robbery, if you ask me.
We are on the path to the fort, and here's a little map. It's quite a ways out, of course. It's a lot of trails. I know where the Fort Necessity is actually way up there, and we're only over here, so it's a 1/4 of a mile, but it's pretty well marked and it's pretty accessible. It seems like it's pretty flat, so we're gonna make a go for it and hope the boys are all right. Now, unfortunately, this is a forested path, so I'm getting wet, but the things I do for my subscribers and my viewers, so make sure you watch the whole video because I'm getting wet. So we come out of the woodland trail, and I believe that is the fort. It's not a full fort, I don't think. It's just a lot of poles like a fort, but we'll get over there and see. There's some kiosks of information around it. So 22-year-old Colonel George Washington planned his defenses between 2 stream beds with earthworks surrounding the wooden stockade. Although Washington's selection for the fort's location was proper for tactics at the time, it had 2 drawbacks. The fort was too close to the tree line, and the trenches dug into the boggy soil filled with water when it rained. Gee, just like today. That is all of the fort that Washington had, and it was in a nice clearing. There are these white signs all around us. I'll peen in on one of them, like this one here, that tell you where the tree line was at the time. But these are the embankments that they hid behind, and they used the fort to tend to the wounded in the last ditch. Little cannon out here. It's neat. Uh-oh. We came in and there's people in here with muskets. Have you seen any Indians lately?
Not today. In the jaws of the cock, there's a piece of stone called flint. Flintlock ignition. Now let's say I was primed and loaded with this musket. It was ready to shoot. I pull the trigger now. What's going to happen? Nothing. Well, there's 2 reasons for that. First, you should never go off half-cocked. Now if I pull the trigger, the flint will fly forward, striking leather, and what will be made?
Sparks.
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh.
I remove my leather hammer stall, the leather guard that keeps spark from being made. I pull the trigger, that flint will fly forward, striking the face of this steel hammer, shearing off spark. Some of that shower of spark will land in this trough, where I put a charge of priming powder. It's going to create a big fireball. Some of that fire is going to shoot through the back of the barrel, through a hole called the touch hole. What that fire finds when it shoots through the touch hole will be my cartridge. Cartridge is a paper tube with that lead musket ball seated at the bottom, pre-measured amount of powder at the top here, sealed off at both ends, a pre-made paper bullet. So when I load the musket, all that goes down the barrel. When that fire reaches the powder charge, creates a second explosion and sends the ball tumbling out of the barrel 60 to 80 yards downrange accurately. The ball will go further, but we're only going to be accurate with it to about 80 yards away. And why is that? I just said it. This is a smooth bore. You handle the cartridge. And of course, to prime, you need to open or expose this cartridge. How do I do that? Prime. I give myself a little more priming powder. Close the pan to secure the powder. Pass the musket about. The rest of this goes down the barrel. Powder and the paper down is wadding to pack it in. Draw the rammer. Seat the charge with the rammer. And now you see I'm returning the rammer. From this position, we get 3 commands. To make ready. I have to remove both my safeties. Present! And of course, what's my final command, everybody?
But this would be where the French had camped and attacked Fort Necessity over the days that they fought. This is really kind of a nice stop. The demonstrations and the rangers are very knowledgeable and very personable, and of course there's volunteers that just love doing what they're doing. So if you get a minute, stop by Fort Necessity. This is the Mount Washington Tavern, part of the National Park. So now you've got your full education on the French and Indian War, and something I didn't know, that General Washington used to be Colonel Washington with the British Army. So interesting, always learning. I think that's the end of our 6-video series on the Pennsylvania Highlands. I had a great time there. We spent more or less 6 days there and saw a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things in the Highlands to visit and see. So if you go there, try to take your time and get around. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have a couple of videos now that are probably local. We'll be seeing some stuff around town. There's a lot going on. And we'll hope you stay for those. And we've got more exciting stuff coming up in a couple weeks. But stay with me and keep sharing, keep giving me thumbs up, comments, great. Any suggestions where you'd like to go or see or anything like that, let me know. We'll put something together for you. All right, things are changing. Have a great day, stay safe, come back soon. Bye bye everybody.